Welcome. My name is Ben Peters. I'm coming to you today from the most southern tip in Africa, down in Cape Town, purposefully called the Cape of Storms. Over the last 5 days, we've experienced one magnificent storm down in Cape Town. You're welcome to look at the weather updates, and you will see what we're experiencing down in Cape Town over the last couple of days. But I'm glad and happy to be with you guys and to share with you what we have been doing down in at the city of Cape Town, and to take you through the journey that we had since we started the PMO in 2011. During 2011, we started with the discovery phase. During that time, we had multiple issues just on projects and programs, and struggle to deliver. During that same time, we had multiple audit queries and problems that we had to solve. And we purposefully decided to go into a space of project portfolio management. During that time, we followed the old people, process, systems approach, making sure that we understand who's the stakeholders, what is, then we moved over to define all of the particular processes. And during 2013, we ultimately enabled ourselves to deliver on a system-based approach. During that particular time, we rolled the system out. We had enablements, and we started experiencing with project portfolio management. In 2015, we added the grant fund projects to the capital portfolio, and then in 2016, we ultimately moved into a space where we started doing project reviews on a continuous basis, which we still do to date. And those project reviews is an independent review where we just try to make sure that we continuously provide feedback to deliver better and to the residents of Cape Town. Moving on to the transitioning phase, we got to a place and a point in time where we had to transition. During that particular time, we moved away from a consultancy-based approach to an internal City of Cape Town approach. We took ownership of our systems, we took ownership of discipline, and we excelled. That then translated into the space of evolution. And during the evolution phase, we added a couple of additional services that we're offering within the City of Cape Town from a PMO point of view. That translates to that of engineering management. We formalized project management, formalized program management, and we didn't just look at the capital project portfolio. And then during 2021, we've also added the contract management services into the domain for the work that we're doing within the City of Cape Town. As you can see, we've got to a place where we embedded all of our processes and systems across the organization during 23-24. And as a good project manager, you want to continuously move forward and you want to excel. And what was very fascinating for me, I had the AIPMO or the IPMO group with me during March, and we have brainstormed quite a bit on the work that we're doing, and that triggered the next phases and the work that we want to achieve within the City of Cape Town. And part of my topic today, and that is first of all the intelligence integration and the work for intelligence integration, and that is where we will focus on the connecting of the project and program portfolios, as well as the infrastructure data to strengthen the enterprise portfolio governance, cross-directed integration, and alignment with the infrastructure lifecycle planning and investment decisions. And then that will be a 2-year journey for us at this particular point in time. We look forward to that particular journey because ultimately we want to get ourselves into 2030, where we have the advanced analytics and AI support modeling to help us with all our particular decisions and making sure that there's continuous project portfolio optimization within the City of Cape Town. In a nutshell, we've got a very unique integrated PMO system at the City of Cape Town. As you can see on the screen on the outside, we sit with the various 5 disciplines and for which we are responsible for, and those services that we drive, project, program, portfolio, contract, and engineering management. And then you will see in the middle, we are focusing on the organizational maturity. That's one aspect that we will work on going forward, because after a lot of engagements, as we all know from these particular PMO days, it's not just about being a mature organization, but it's about the impact that you're trying to make. And the impact is cross-organizational from this particular graph. It is not just focusing on the organization, it's also focusing on the impact on the individual, the impact on how we deliver our projects within the context of the City of Cape Town. And then we also have a great focus on individual competence. That individual competence focus greatly towards the professionalization and enable individuals to become better versions of themselves within the workplace, but also better persons of themselves within their personal life. So we've got a big journey towards driving the individual competences within the particular aspects. And then we also drive the delivery of the entire project portfolio, projects, programs, contracts, as well as the engineering elements, which is of interest. So how do we do projects currently within the organization? And I think this is important for me because, as I mentioned from my topic when I started, I mentioned to you that we want to work from visibility to predictability, but you need to take small steps to ultimately get there. We have developed a particular process within the City of Cape Town, making sure that we get the aspects from strategy linked to execution. One of the key, couple of things that I want to say there. One of the key reasons why strategies fails is because they cannot be executed. On top of that, we also know that a strategy is a collection of choices within a project portfolio, and you can only deliver on a particular strategy via projects and programs. We also know that you can only assign resources at project level. So you need to enable yourself to get the strategy implemented and make sure that whatever the strategy is, that we get that done. Now, within our municipal government, within the City of Cape Town, how it works is we've got a term of office of 5 years with a political party. That term of office is pretty much driving the strategy, and we call that the IDP, the Integrated Development Plan. And that is the promises that the politicians then make that we will need to deliver on from administration point of view. So first of all, we normally start with the particular strategy, the IDP. The IDP is getting reviewed on an annual basis. That is what we call the strategic review. During that strategic review, we will see where are we at a particular point in time. Are we ahead? Are we behind? What is the decisions that needs to be made for the next year in terms of first OPEX and the operational review, and then the capital review. We also know that from OPEX point of view, that because of your capital investment, there might be impacts on the OPEX. So those two normally goes into a circular loop, and to find the optimal balance between OPEX and CAPEX ultimately. As we move on, we've developed what we call sector planning. The sector planning is where we go and do a deep dive into each on every single directorate within the City of Cape Town. And the sector plans aim to make sure that we've got the same planning assumptions in terms of population growth, in terms of where the city is going and where we want to invest and where we want to implement more infrastructure. It is the particular point where it also feeds back with that arrow into the IDP review and the SMF and our annual planning on a year-to-year basis. And then ultimately it translates to the portfolio alignment with strategy, which is the informant to our long-term financial management plan. As we've identified what the particular sectors is doing and it's aligned with the particular strategy, we start with project preparation. Within the project preparation phase, what we've done is that we've started off with the UK 5 case model, and we Cape Townized it. There's multiple various industry practices available for project preparation. We have developed our own project preparation guideline, and that consists of 7 cases across scoping, feasibility, and concept design. We see that once a particular project is feasible, that the concept design is where the particular engineering or technical feasibility needs to happen. And we only capitalize once a particular project is through concept. And I've got 1 or 2 slides a little bit later on that. And then further to that, it is also to make sure that it's aligned with our national government regulations, which is called the Local Government Framework for Infrastructure Procurement Delivery Management, LGFIPDM. We talk quite a bit in acronyms, and you can also make a conversation just using acronyms nowadays at the City of Cape Town. And then it's also the Catalytic Land Development Plan, which is the CLDP, just for those that don't know those acronyms. Once we've prepared the various projects, we go into a project readiness assessment. The project readiness assessment enables us to do and to check where the particular project is. The plan is to make sure that we build a pipeline of ready projects, and the plan is that we don't capitalize and invest in any projects that will have potential delays or impact on the delivery period of the particular 5-year to 10-year horizon. So that is why the project preparation is so important for us, followed by the readiness assessments, which is all automated towards decision making. As we then enter the pipeline and the capitalization, we do the formal portfolio management services, and therefore looking at the resource capacity and capability, utilization of resources, utilization of and the balancing, as well as your selection and prioritization elements once the project is ready. And then moving towards striving the excellent delivery of execution into infrastructure management, making sure that we can look after our assets and retain the condition of them, and to maximize the lifespan of the projects that we've invested a lot of money in, after which we then feed back and review all the way back into step number 1 on an annual basis. Moving forward, a little bit more just on the sector plans. You will see if we talk about sector plans, it provides you a list of number of projects over multiple years. This is just a schematic, and that is so that we can understand at what particular point in time do we need to invest and from our long-term planning. Our sector plans is currently continuing into a space of 15 years. We have also developed our 2050 plan within the City of Cape Town, which is providing a lot of insights into the 25-year plan of where and how we see Cape Town in 2050. What is important is, however, for me, if you look at the top, is that we know for mega projects and for large projects within the City of Cape Town, that it sometimes takes approximately 18 months for scoping studies. It takes 18 months for feasibility studies. It takes 18 months for concept design studies. Then it takes 18 months for detailed design and another 18 months for an infrastructure procurement, where we have to follow a Section 33 process as per the MFMA, which is the Municipal Finance Management Act. And where, therefore, if we don't have visibility from our capital portfolio at least 7 to 8 years ahead of time, we will already fall behind the curve. And therefore, it is so important to have the visibility of the major infrastructure investments into a long or medium-term process, so that we can then start with the project preparation work well ahead of time. We know that from better project preparation, there's better execution planning, and with better execution planning, there is better delivery. And the research has shown that, and we believe that is true. And we've seen that is that the projects that is gone in and ultimately spend a lot of time and effort into preparing the projects while trying to find the correct most feasible options is normally one that succeeds. Once we've got our sector plans, we do all our infrastructure execution planning, after which we move into the infrastructure delivery. And that is for all the various disciplines that you can see on the screen, from engineering to procurement to project management, portfolio management, into the infrastructure management component. A little bit of a framework that we've developed. I know that it's small, but I'm just going to sketch the picture of where and how everything fits together. You will see right at the top, we've got our strategic planning. The strategic planning element is the one where I discussed with you the long-term plan, the 2050 plan, the 25-year. That is then followed by our sector plans, which is the 15-year plan. That then follows into the IDP, which is the term of office. And it is important that we try and aim, even though there might be political changes and various decisions, that there can be consistency in the approach that we have towards infrastructure delivery within the city of Cape Town. That is then followed by our strategic management framework, which is normally looked at the IDP, but we do that on an annual basis. Further to that, when we look at the strategic planning life cycle, we start with strategic intelligence, and we go straight through up to the strategic review. That particular portion of work of strategic planning is sitting with my colleague, Hugh Cole, who is responsible for strategy and policy within the city of Cape Town. The handover point is the strategic review, which is then informing the project portfolio identification and the project portfolio life cycle, for which I'm responsible for. And then we go through the project portfolio balancing optimization, the selection prioritization, the authorization, the portfolio delivery, and ultimately the portfolio review, which we tie back into strategy and policy. We know that the project portfolios is consisting of programs and projects, so that is why we've also linked them into this particular picture, into the pink blocks. You will see the project portfolio delivery consists of programs and projects. The orange component, the program delivery approach, where we first identify the program, we do the program definition, then we go into the program delivery planning, after which we focus on the program delivery and then the closeout. We also know that programs consist of multiple projects that we only follow within the city of Cape Town a programmatic approach if the particular outcome that is aimed from the program cannot be achieved by a singular project, and that is how we have to find it within the city. Then we also have our project management component, and then we tied into the sites the engineering management and the contract management into the framework, so it is easier for us to understand exactly how the engineering services, the contracts management services, all fit and link and consolidate with the project delivery services. Once we've delivered the particular projects, we've created a particular asset, infrastructure asset that needs to be looked after. That particular element is then to focus further into the future and to make sure that we look after infrastructure assets and then operate and maintain them holistically as we continue. A little bit more just on our capital portfolio over the next 10 years, 124 billion rand, the biggest investment in water and sanitation and urban mobility, followed by energy, which is basic services. We know that the basic services is one of our key things that we as a municipality need to deliver. We have also tied that 124 billion into our IDP priorities, which is the integrated delivery plan, where we try to deliver a city of hope, whether from economic growth, safety, basic services, etc. You will see the biggest component is going into basic services of our capital portfolio. And then we have the breakdown of the new, enhanced, and replacement cycles. What I want to stand still on this particular graph, you would see that it is going a little bit up, and then there's a small dip there that we experienced around about 2030, 2031, Well, that's something that we're looking at this particular point in time, is to understand it better, because from a balanced portfolio, you would like to see that the portfolio increase, mainly with CPA as well as your population growth assumptions that you've got. And you don't necessarily want to see a dip, but the continuous growth within the capital portfolio. What we've seen approximately 5 years ago still, and this is where we say that the visibility into the optimization and the data work that we're talking about today is so important, is that after the third year, we always saw a big reduction up to about the value of 1 billion rand holistically. And over the last 5 years, we have worked very hard to get that right and to get much better sector plans and work to inform the particular project, the project portfolio towards making sure that we've got a much more balanced approach within the organization. Moving forward is just a little bit more just to understand how we operate within the city. I talked about the preparation. This is the point in time when we do the project readiness assessments just before we capitalize, and then we move into the execution. What we do and our project preparation work for scoping, our strategic case is the most important. When we move into feasibility, our socio-economic and finance case is the most important and needs to be passed. And then when we go into the concept design phase, the ultimate cases that's of importance is that of engineering, project management, commercial, regulatory, and procurement that we want to enable and then feed into the delivery to the CapEx execution, which is the detailed design, followed by infrastructure procurement. A little bit more just about those areas. I've touched based on them. I'm not going to stand still. It is just different cases that we look at from a capital portfolio point of view and from a preparation point. We've got belief in right-sized governance. You cannot expose each and every single project to the same life cycle. So for medium life cycle projects, we don't expect feasibility studies, and for small projects, we don't. Life cycle projects, we don't expect feasibility or concept design. It's just to scope them right, because it's about putting the right efforts into the space. Our complexity criteria is listed as per the screen. This has all been automated. When you create a particular project, you get your number of questionnaires. It can be tailored during the time of the project as well, to inform the complexity of the project, but this is to give us indication of what life cycle needs to be followed so that we can drive the capital portfolio holistically across the organization and make sure that we do the right thing. These categories varies all across, from design into stakeholders, into the procurement difficulties, and then the engineering elements, which is of utter importance for us. And then this is then mapped across our portfolio from a value point of view, and then the complexity score to define what the life cycle is that we're supposed to use. A little bit more about project and execution readiness. The biggest thing is that we want to make sure that you've got a procurement vehicle before you start. In the past, we've always seen in numerous cases that there is a lot of projects that's not being completed. They budgeted for, but they don't have a procurement vehicle in place. So since about 2018, 2017, we started working very hard on project readiness assessment. At this particular point in time, what you see here is all automated. We've got multiple dashboards which we present to the executive team, and then ultimately they make the informed decisions, and they make sure that projects must be ready before they enter the capital program and before they get capitalized. Multiple questionnaires that needs to be answered per project. Your statutory requirements, whether it is water use license, land use license, and the like. It's all essential before you start, because you don't want to have any negative impact on the delivery period. And then your data compliance is all the data accurately reflected in your system. We look at our benefits management, the land acquisition requirements, as well as the governance, where each and every single project must have a scope as well as a level 3 breakdown schedule, so that we can better inform the decisions and track projects accordingly. I've got 3 or 4 slides left. Just a little bit more about prioritization and selection. We've got a multi-criteria analysis, all that's been utilized. As mentioned, from where we started in 2011 to where we are now, this is all being systemized now. So the data that we currently have within the system has been used to ensure that a particular score is given to strategic alignment, the spatial prioritization, as well as the socioeconomic CBA, and then the infrastructure management and maintenance aspect. What we're working on currently is to better inform the financial MCA component and making sure that we can also have a better use of data from a financial point of view towards our prioritization framework. And then we ultimately also utilize the urgency and importance criteria from the project-based data in the system. And then finally, we've got a big detailed resource analysis where we utilize, look at capacity and capability across the organization to ensure that we can ultimately deliver with the limited resources that we currently have. From this slide, you will see that we started off at 4 billion in 2013, and how we've escalated to about 250% since then, 270%, sitting with a capital portfolio of 13.5 billion, moving to 14.6 to next year. So there's continuous growth that we're experiencing, making sure that we can deliver. And we're currently sitting on our best performance to date from a delivery point of view. If you look at the percentages and the places where we've been percentage-wise holistically across the last couple of years. We keep on tracking and being very visible about the outputs. We are working very hard in the background on outcome and to get the outcomes much more aligned and understand outcomes and the benefits from the outputs. We know that you cannot achieve the outcomes if you haven't done your particular outputs, but we keep on tracking our outputs. These 2 slides is just an indication of what we're doing from a data point of view to inform what it is that we are doing with the ratepayers' money. And this is ultimately also being used by our executive team towards their performance scorecards and the work that they've been doing. And then finally, a little bit more about the analytics. A lot of time and effort going and will be going in over the next 2 to 5 years into predictive analysis. We do a lot of descriptive analysis and sometimes diagnostic analysis at this point in time. But where we want to be is ultimately the predictive analysis component, and that is the big focus for us at this point. We believe in continuous system enhancements, enterprise-wide risk management, as well as the full automated reporting point where decisions can be easily made. I thank you very much. That is my 30 minutes, and if there's any questions, I am open to them.
Thank you so much, Ben, for your presentation and walking us through the city of Cape Town, how it's evolved, and through the data-driven approach. We have a question for you. It says, how did the city of Cape Town transition from fragmented project reporting to an integrated enterprise-wide PMO system that supports portfolio predictability?
So the biggest thing was the fact that we had to, first of all, get all our processes in place, followed by our systems, where the fragmented approach was mainly due to the fact that we haven't had the ability to utilize the data to its full extent. Now that we've got the system and the enablement of data all from the system, that's the key contributor that enables us to ultimately move forward and move forward from that fragmented approach up to where we are currently.
Okay. Thanks, Ben. I just checked about the weather in Cape Town. It's showing in red, flash flood risk. So I just hope you and everyone are safe.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Bye-bye.